Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How long are you willing to stay stuck? How long will you let the same excuses, the same fears, and the same limitations run your life? Because I'm here to tell you today is the day it changes. Change isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. It's a decision, a moment where you say, enough is enough. You're not here to settle. You're here to rise, to transform, to become the person you were meant to be. So if you're ready, not just interested, committed, then let's dive in. Because the life you want, it's waiting for you on the other side of change. Change starts with a decision. It's that single moment when you decide deep in your soul that enough is enough, that you will no longer accept the version of yourself that settles for less, that tolerates mediocrity, that keeps making excuses. It's the instant when you shift from I should to I must. Because the truth is, change doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't come knocking on your door waiting for you to be ready. It happens when you step up and take control of your life. Most people wait for change to come from the outside. They wait for the perfect time, the right circumstances, the right motivation. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more money, or I'll change when the situation is better. But that's a lie. There is no perfect time. There is no magical moment when everything aligns and suddenly it's easy to take action. The only way to change is to decide right now, in this very moment, that you are done waiting. Think about any transformation you've ever seen in the world, whether it's a person losing weight, building a business, or overcoming massive challenges. It always starts with a decision, a moment where they said, I will not live like this anymore. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't know exactly how they would do it, but they made a commitment. And that commitment set everything in motion. Deciding to change means burning the boats. It means cutting off the option of going back. Too many people give themselves an escape route. They say they want to change, but deep down they're still holding on to old habits, old identities, and old stories that keep them stuck. When you truly decide, you eliminate those escape routes. You make it clear that the only way is forward. That's when real transformation happens. But here's what stops most people. Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what others will think. And let's be honest, fear isn't going away. It will always be there, whispering in your ear, trying to pull you back into comfort. The difference between those who change and those who don't is simple. The ones who change decide that their future is more important than their fear. They feel the fear and move forward anyway. They refuse to let temporary discomfort stop them from creating the life they deserve. There is power in making a real decision, not a half-hearted, I'll try, not a maybe someday, a real, unshakable decision backed by action. Because when you truly decide, the universe responds. Your mind shifts. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. You start finding ways instead of excuses. You create momentum that pulls you forward. But it all starts with you. No one else can make that decision for you. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. It's on you to claim it. So ask yourself right now, what have you been waiting to change? What have you been putting off? What excuse have you been telling yourself? And more importantly, are you ready to decide? Because everything you want starts the moment you do. Your past does not define your future. Too many people live trapped by their past mistakes, failures, and disappointments. They believe that because they've struggled before, they'll struggle forever. They think that because they've been hurt, they can't be happy. But the truth is, your past is nothing more than a story, a collection of events that only hold power over you if you allow them to. The only thing that defines your future is the decision you make today. People carry their past like a weight on their shoulders. They let old failures dictate their confidence. They let past relationships dictate their ability to love. They let childhood wounds shape their identity. And over time, this baggage becomes their excuse, their identity, their reason for not moving forward. But here's the reality. The past is gone. It cannot be changed. The only thing that matters is what you do now. The second you realize that, you take your power back. Some of the most successful people in the world have come from unimaginable hardships. They've faced bankruptcy, rejection, abuse, and trauma. But they refuse to let their past be the script for their future. They decided that their past would be their motivation, not their limitation. They understood that the lessons from their failures were stepping stones, not roadblocks. Every great comeback story begins with someone who chose to break free from their past. Your brain is wired to keep you in familiar patterns. It wants to replay past events and convince you that history will repeat itself. If you've failed before, it tells you that you'll fail again. If you've been hurt before, it tells you to protect yourself and never take risks. But this is just survival mode. It's not truth. Just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it has to happen in the future. You are not bound by what was. You are only limited by what you believe is possible. Think about how many times people let their past control them. They stopped trying because they were told they weren't good enough. They stopped loving because someone broke their heart. They stopped dreaming because they failed before. But those who rise above don't ignore their past. They learn from it. They use it as fuel. They take the lessons, but they refuse to take the limitations. They choose to believe that every experience, no matter how painful, was preparing them for something greater. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of looking at your past as proof of what's not possible, see it as proof of how strong you are. If you've been through hard times and survived, that means you have resilience. If you've failed before, that means you've gained wisdom. If you've been hurt, that means you have the capacity to feel deeply. Everything that has happened to you has shaped you, but it does not have to define you. Most people stay stuck because they keep reliving the past. They replay old conversations, old mistakes, old regrets. They think, but what if instead of looking back, you focused on what's ahead? What if instead of holding on to guilt, you gave yourself permission to move forward? What if you realized that the person you were in the past is not the person you have to be tomorrow? You are always one decision away from a completely different life. But that decision requires letting go of the past. It requires making peace with it, forgiving yourself, and understanding that nothing behind you has the power to stop what's ahead of you. The moment you stop looking in the rearview mirror and start focusing on the road ahead, everything changes. The past is only a story, and you are the one who gets to decide how the next chapter is written. Break the pattern. Take massive action. Most people live their lives in cycles, repeating the same behaviors, making the same choices, and wondering why nothing ever changes. They wake up every day with the same thoughts, take the same actions, and get the same results. They want something different, but they're stuck in a pattern that keeps them exactly where they are. The only way to break free is to break the pattern, and that requires massive action. The brain is wired for comfort. It craves routine because routine feels safe. Even when a person is unhappy, their mind tells them to stay where they are because at least it's familiar. That's why people stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and habits that destroy them. Change is uncomfortable, and the mind resists it. But the truth is, if you want a different life, you must do something different. Thinking about change isn't enough. Wanting change isn't enough. The only thing that creates change is action. Massive, decisive action. Small, hesitant actions lead to small, hesitant results. People dip their toes in the water, hoping that small efforts will create big transformations, but it doesn't work that way. If you want a breakthrough, you need to take actions that shake up your entire world. You need to do something that forces you out of your comfort zone, something that makes the old patterns impossible to continue. That's why successful people don't just talk about their goals, they take massive action toward them. They don't wait until they feel ready. They move even when they're scared. Fear is the biggest barrier to action. People hesitate because they're afraid of failure, rejection, or discomfort. They overthink every step, trying to predict every outcome, and in the process, they do nothing. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't go away by thinking about it. It only disappears when you take action despite it. Action kills fear. The moment you do something, you prove to yourself that fear is just an illusion, a mental construct that only has power when you obey it. Massive action means going all in. It means doing something so bold that your old self has no choice but to evolve. It's not about making small improvements. It's about creating a shift so big that your entire life starts moving in a new direction. It's the difference between slowly trying to change a habit and completely overhauling your approach. If you want to get in shape, don't just start walking for 5 minutes. Commit to a complete fitness transformation. If you want to start a business, don't just research ideas. Launch something today. When you take massive action, you create momentum, and momentum is what leads to real transformation. There will always be obstacles, challenges, and reasons to delay, but the people who succeed are the ones who refuse to let those things stop them. They don't wait for the perfect time, they create the perfect time. They don't wait until they feel confident. They build confidence by taking action. They don't let their past failures define them, they use them as fuel to push harder. The longer you wait to take action, the stronger the old patterns become. Every day you delay, you reinforce the habits and thoughts that are keeping you stuck. That's why the most powerful thing you can do is act now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Change is not something that happens someday. It's something you create in this moment. The second you decide to take massive action, you set a new course for your life, and nothing will ever be the same again. Your mindset shapes your reality. Everything you experience, everything you achieve, and everything you struggle with is a direct reflection of the way you think. Your thoughts are the foundation of your actions, and your actions determine the results you get in life. If your mindset is weak, negative, or filled with doubt, your life will reflect that. But if your mindset is strong, focused, and filled with belief, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Most people think their circumstances control them. They believe that if they had more money, better opportunities, or fewer challenges, they would be successful. But the truth is, it's not external conditions that shape success. It's the mindset you bring to them. Two people can be in the same situation, facing the same struggles, yet one rises while the other stays stuck. The difference isn't in what's happening to them, it's in how they think about it. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable enough, you will act according to those beliefs. If you focus on problems, you will only see obstacles. If you focus on solutions, you will find opportunities. What you feed your mind determines the life you live. If you fill it with fear, doubt, and negativity, your life will be filled with fear, doubt, and negativity. But if you feed it with confidence, resilience, and determination, your life will reflect those qualities. The most successful people in the world weren't born with some special advantage. They weren't given a secret formula that others don't have. They simply developed a mindset that refused to accept limitations. They trained themselves to think differently. Instead of saying, I can't, they asked, how can I? Instead of focusing on failures, they looked for lessons. Instead of blaming circumstances, they took responsibility. They understood that the way they think about a problem is more important than the problem itself. Most people don't realize that their mindset is a choice. They assume that the way they think is just who they are, but that's not true. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides what to think. You have the power to rewire your brain, to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, and to shift your focus from what's holding you back to what's pushing you forward. Every time you choose a positive thought over a negative one, you strengthen your mindset. Every time you push past fear, instead of giving into it, you take control of your life. Your beliefs create your identity, and your identity determines your destiny. If you believe you're not worthy of success, you'll sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. If you believe you're not capable of change, you won't take the actions necessary to grow. But when you change what you believe about yourself, you change what's possible for you. A person who believes they are unstoppable will act differently than someone who believes they are destined to fail. Rewiring your mindset requires awareness and effort. You must become conscious of the thoughts you allow into your mind. You must challenge the stories you've been telling yourself. You must replace doubt with certainty, fear with courage, and hesitation with action. This is not something that happens overnight, but every single day you have the opportunity to shape your mind in a way that serves you. Everything in your life, your success, your happiness, your relationships, your health, starts with your mindset. The way you think determines the way you live. If you want a different life, the first step is to master your mind, because when you control your thoughts, you control your reality. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. The people you spend the most time with shape your mindset, your beliefs, and ultimately your future. Human beings are wired for connection, and whether you realize it or not, the energy, habits, and attitudes of those around you influence your own. If you surround yourself with people who complain, make excuses, and settle for less, you will adopt those same patterns. But if you surround yourself with ambitious, driven, and growth-focused individuals, you will naturally rise to their level. Success is not just about what you do, it's about who you do it with. You cannot expect to grow if you are constantly around people who pull you back into old habits, negativity, and self-doubt. If you're the most motivated person in your circle is too small. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, and one of the greatest challenges is stepping away from relationships that no longer serve your future. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people, but it does mean you stop allowing their limitations to become your own. Look at the most successful people in any field, and you'll see they have one thing in common. They intentionally build environments that support their growth. They seek out mentors, coaches, and like-minded individuals who push them to become better. They understand that no one succeeds alone. They know that if they want to think bigger, act bolder, and achieve more, they need to be surrounded by people who are doing the same. Most people stay stuck because they are afraid to outgrow their current environment. They worry about what others will think if they change. They fear rejection from friends or family who don't understand their vision. But real growth requires stepping into discomfort. It requires recognizing that not everyone will come with you on your journey, and that's okay. Your success is not dependent on anyone's approval. It's dependent on your ability to create an environment that fuels your ambition. Being around growth-minded people does more than just inspire you. It holds you accountable. When you are in a room full of people who take action, excuses become unacceptable. When you are surrounded by those who push themselves, you start pushing yourself harder. There is a level of energy and momentum that comes from being around people who are constantly evolving. It forces you to raise your standards. It eliminates the option of playing small. It's not just about avoiding negative people, it's about actively seeking those who will elevate you. Find the people who challenge your thinking, who encourage you to take risks, who refuse to let you settle. Surround yourself with those who are living at the level you aspire to reach. Learn from them, model their habits, and absorb their mindset. When you are in the presence of greatness, it becomes impossible to remain average. This is why personal development is a lifelong commitment. It's not just about learning new skills. It's about continuously refining the people you allow into your life. It's about creating a support system that fuels your growth instead of draining it. It's about aligning yourself with those who remind you of your potential instead of reinforcing your limitations. Your environment will either make you or break you. It will either push you toward your goals or pull you away from them. If you are serious about growth, you must be intentional about who you spend your time with. Your future self depends on the choices you make today, and one of the most important choices you can make is deciding who gets to be part of your journey. Commit, adapt, and never look back. The moment you decide to change your life, obstacles will appear. Challenges will test your commitment, and doubts will creep in. This is where most people stop. They start strong, but the first sign of resistance makes them question whether they're capable, whether it's worth it, whether they should just go back to what's familiar. But success is not about starting, it's about staying committed, adapting when necessary, and refusing to retreat. Commitment means making a decision and eliminating all other options. It means burning the boats, cutting off the escape routes, and fully investing in the journey ahead. People fail not because they aren't capable, but because they leave themselves an exit. They say, I'll try, instead of I will. They hold on to backup plans instead of going all in. But the truth is, half-hearted effort leads to half-hearted results. If you want real change, you must commit with everything you have. There will be moments when things don't go as planned. No matter how prepared you are, life will throw unexpected challenges your way. The people who succeed are not the ones who never face difficulties. They are the ones who adapt. They don't see obstacles as stop signs. They see them as detours. They don't waste time complaining about what went wrong. They focus on what they can do next. They stay flexible, adjusting their approach, but never losing sight of their goal. Most people quit because they expect the path to be easy. They believe that once they make a decision, success should follow immediately. But reality doesn't work that way. Anything worth achieving requires perseverance. It requires the ability to keep going even when progress is slow, when motivation fades, when results don't come as fast as expected. This is where true transformation happens. Not in the moments of excitement, but in the moments of struggle, when you decide to push forward anyway. Your mindset during challenges determines your outcome. Some people see difficulties as proof that they should give up. Others see them as proof that they are growing, that they are on the right path, that they are being shaped into the person they need to become. The only difference between success and failure is the ability to keep moving forward despite setbacks. The most successful people in the world have faced more failures than most, but they never let failure define them. They used it as feedback, adjusted their strategy, and kept going. Adapting doesn't mean lowering your standards or giving up on your dreams. It means being resourceful, learning from mistakes, and finding new ways to move forward. It means staying focused on the goal, but flexible in the approach. Many people get stuck because they refuse to change their strategy. They keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. Growth requires the ability to recognize when something isn't working and the courage to adjust. The biggest mistake people make is looking back. They let their past define them. They hold on to old failures. They replay moments of doubt. But the past has nothing new to offer. What matters is what you do now. When you commit fully, when you adapt instead of breaking, and when you refuse to turn back, you become unstoppable. There is no challenge too great, no failure too big, no obstacle too strong to stop someone who has truly decided that nothing will stand in their way.